Hey all! I am trying to record a more knitting related video today, as I'm not doing so much. I'm here for 1 month to do this debate course that I was telling you about before, and we are pretty busy the whole day. I come to the debate school in the morning, I leave in the evening, and I'm not doing much other things, so watching us debate might not be the most interesting thing because you most likely wouldn't understand much. I'm not understanding that much, I feel. Like the whole thing is to make us confused and to question things and to bring up doubts. So for someone that doesn't know much about Buddhism or about the Nalanda debate, I don't think it would be beneficial for you to watch it at all. And the only other thing I do is maybe go to a cafe in the evening with my friends and have a chat. So that's also not so interesting. So I'm just recording a video outside today, and we have to deal with the conditions. I tried to record something this morning, but then the light was changing so much that it wasn't really useful. And I also had an issue to find something where to put my camera to actually record something. You are actually right now propped up in a palm tree. So you're literally in a part of the palm tree while I sit in front of this little wall. It's not pretty beautiful, but the lighting is okay and you can see me and we have a workable angle. So the first thing I wanted to talk about is my finished t-shirt. I hope you can see it. It's a Karamelli tee by Anna Johanna. And you have seen it for a while because I started this in December and it took forever because it's a shirt knit in a lace weight yarn. And knitting lace weight on tiny needles is really not my favorite things. And whenever I do it, I ask myself why I do this to myself. And obviously the answer is because it's really nice in the heat to have a lightweight, easy wear shirt. And it feels nice to wear it, but working on it is not my favorite thing. Right now, down here in South India, during the day, we have like 30 to 36 degrees every day. It is pretty hot, especially in the sun. We are sitting in the shadow right now. We are just having a break between classes. Lunch is coming in half an hour. So it is already hot if we would go to the sun. That's why I'm hiding in the shadow. So this t-shirt I knit in a Sherpa wool that I got gifted by Vanessa. She crocheted a whole dress out of it. And she just gave me her leftovers because I liked the color so much. So this is a 100% merino lace weight yarn, but I don't know the name of it. I know it's from Sherpa. It's a German company from what I know. And I don't have a label to show it to you. And the brown part is some leftover merino lace that I got in a sale for like €2 some years ago. So I just used it as a contrast down here, and because I wasn't sure if I have enough yarn. And I was considering adding sleeves or not adding sleeves. The pattern actually has small sleeves, but I literally run out of the wool that I have with me anyways. I have a little bit left at home in Dharamsala, but I don't have it with me. So I might add sleeves later or just be done with this because I really, at the moment, I just wanted to be done with it and I didn't want to deal with it anymore. There's nothing wrong with the pattern. It's just me not liking to work with lace weight yarn on tiny needles, knitting stockinette all of the time. There is an interesting lace border down here, but it's also not my favorite lace. I don't know, it might still just be the lace weight. So next, I'm not working on a lace weight top for a while, but this is finished. And now that I'm going around, my friends are teasing me because they say this is my Charlie Brown shirt. And it seems this is an American show for children that I don't know much about. I've never watched it, but they showed me a picture of the main character, Charlie Brown, wearing a yellow shirt with brown kind of zigzags on the front. And they say this shirt looks like I'm Charlie Brown. So this is officially my Charlie Brown Karamelli tee now. Now we are coming to the main reason that I wanted to get this video filmed today. Because this year, my 2 finished objects will be a gift for someone. They turned out beautiful, I love them, I love the patterning. But it's totally not my color. It doesn't go with anything I own. So this will be a gift for someone in the course. She actually helped me to get into this course. Without her I wouldn't be here, so I'm really grateful for this. And she loves to wear blue and gray tones, so I think this bluish gray color would be perfect for her, while it is totally not perfect for me. Even though I love the yarn, it's super soft, it's super nice. It's the Kashmirine yarn that I showed you before already. It's 80% wool, and as it's called Kashmirine, I assume it's merino wool, even if the label doesn't specify it, and 20% cashmere. It's a thicker kind of DK weight yarn, and I really enjoy working with it. And I got it because it was on sale, and there was 4 balls in the same color left, so I thought I'd just take them. Even if it's not my favorite color, I can make something really nice out of it. And what I made is the Glowhair Frost Hat and the Glowhair Frost Scarflet, both by Stephen West. Both of these patterns are available individually, but I got them in the Hyper Knitting 5 book that I was eyeing already, but I wasn't really sure if I want to get it. But then when he released the Glowhair Frost Scarflet, I was looking again, I was thinking like, yeah, there's enough patterns that I like enough and that I really want to make. Maybe not right now. Like, I like the big shawl version of this as well. It's really beautiful. I'm not so much a big shawl knitter, but it is so beautiful and so interesting with the textures that I would knit it in the future. So I thought it's a worthwhile investment. So let me show you both projects more in detail. You see there's a lace pattern up here. Now I folded up the brim, then it's a bit tight, but I can wear it a bit slouchy. It has a bit of a different look, and then it's covering my ear as well. But I'm not even sure if my friend has a bigger hat or not. We will test this later, but you can wear it in both versions for double warms or less warms. So she's also living in Dharamsala, but she lives in lower Dharamsala, where it's a tiny bit warmer than where I live, but it's not making a huge difference. But her winter is a bit shorter than mine. But you see, this is a really beautiful pattern. I will show it up close. It's like mainly a ribbing down at the bottom, and then there's a lace in the middle and the simple cables at the side. It knit up quickly, it wasn't really complicated. It was a mindless knit that I could actually knit in class here. Just you have to use the cable needle every 4 rows, but everything was simple. I was easily able to memorize it, and it was a fun quick knit. And the same patterning shows up in the scarflet in the middle section. You can see it here. It's funny how the exact same patterning looks quite different in a scarf than it does in a hat. So originally the scarflet would be much smaller than what I made, because it is made in a way thinner yarn. So the pattern suggests fingering plus merino held together, and this is a thicker DK weight. So that's the weight that is suggested for the hat. So I knit the hat in the correct sizing, but I made the scarf in the same thickness than I made the hat, because I wanted to work a set where the patterning and the wool goes together. But now the scarflet actually became bigger than it would be in the pattern, and much thicker as well. So it doesn't have the same like super soft drape than the mohair fingering weight mix, but I really love it this way as well. It's more like a real shawl. You can see it is quite long. I cannot even like fully fit it in here, and I had to modify it a little bit for this, also to not run out of yarn. But usually this section here would have 3 of the panels, but I wasn't sure if my yarn would be enough with the modifications, and it actually wouldn't have been. I was barely able to finish the scarf. You can even see the end section got a bit shorter on this side than on the beginning side, but I think when it's worn, no one will see the difference. It's a seed stitch section, and yeah, I literally just ran out of yarn here. But I made it like flat, because as a normal scarf, that makes more sense anyway if it's not like having more width here. So I stopped increasing after the first section, where I reached the amount of stitches that I will then need in the middle. But when I made it, I didn't fully think about how the cables here would cinch it in a bit, so I had to go back a bit and add some extra stitches at the side. So it has actually the same width all along the shawl, and I think it turned out pretty beautifully. This shawl is really interesting because you can see it has many different sections with lace and cable sections, and also some really simple textures in between. So it didn't get boring, because after a short bit you always have to do something else. So I love to knit this. Most sections were easy enough to knit in class, at least when I had established the patterns. So I really love this scarflet. I will totally do it again in a different yarn in the future. But now it's a nice finished object, and I will gift it later. And I hope you enjoy it as well. I just thought I'm showing you guys my work in progress as well. But then I realized that I'm in the middle of a row. So I'm just chatting to you while trying to finish the row, because I was just knitting in class a little bit. And it's quite interesting. We're in this debate school where you're questioning a lot of things. And we were just talking about how sense consciousnesses work together, or if they are contradictory, and if you can actually fully do two things at the same time. And the textbook kind of said that all the sensory consciousnesses are not working at the exact same time. And I was just saying that I'm much better in knitting while I'm listening, but knitting and talking at the same time is much more complicated for me. Like now I'm just knitting a simple stockinette, but it's still more challenging for my brain than the other way around. I can just like listen to a teaching and it makes me more focused, but while I do it this way, it's a bit more complicated. And now it's a bit weird because people are walking by and they will probably ask me what I'm doing here, because I'm talking to myself. But yeah, you might hear people in the background. That's because we're sitting outside, and for India this is still pretty quiet. I cannot forget my increases because we are working on the raglan increases here. So I have to pay a little bit of attention. So what do you think? How is it for you? Can you like focus better while listening, or can you focus better while talking, or can you knit and read? That's something that I tried out recently. I thought it's like crazy to do it, but it actually worked much better than I thought, especially with the thicker yarn. Are you doing this kind of things? I know there's also people that knit while walking. That becomes a bit too extreme, and especially in India I wouldn't do it, because here you really have to be careful with the traffic. There's not really sidewalks here, and not everyone is paying attention to people walking. So you might get easily into accidents, and also our roads here are not that even. There's like random holes in the middle of the road. So I wouldn't walk while knitting here because it could easily lead to accidents. But how do you guys feel about it? Is it something you guys do, or is it something you wouldn't do, and why wouldn't you do it? So please tell me about it while I'm trying to finish my row here, to then tell you actually about the whip that I'm working on. What is quite beautiful. You can already see the beautiful yarn I'm using. This is the organic trio that I recently used quite a lot. I've done several garments now, the Rococo tee, and I've also made the, I think it's called Juliet blouse by Fable Knitwear in the same kind of yarn. And it has quite a rustic look, while it is super soft, because it has like 25% silk, 25% cotton, and 50% merino wool. So it's really beautiful and lovely to wear, but it doesn't have a really slick look. It has a kind of a rustic look, and I really enjoy this about it, because I'm not a fan of like silky shiny fabrics. So I prefer a bit of the rustic look, especially for things like cardigans and sweaters. Maybe not so much for shirts, but I actually made 2 shirts out of this material, and I have a quantity for a third one. Also the hat and the other scarflet I made recently are made in the same kind of wool, just in a different color. It's quite a nice wool because it works up really well. Like you have a lot of meterage on a really lightweight wool, so you can easily make a lightweight garment with this. And now I have to stop because now I'm at the cable part and I cannot talk and knitting. I finished my row, so I can show you my work in progress. And this is it. This is the Manta by Anna Johanna again. It's a cardigan. And it has this nice cable side panel. It's a kind of honeycomb cable. It's really simple, but it makes it a bit more interesting than knitting everything stock in it. This is the top, and you can see it is open. So this is a double folded collar. So you can wear it without a shawl. It will be going like this. There's buttonholes here. So it will keep you warm in winter without needing to worry about the shawl, and it's protecting you from the winter bit. And I wasn't really sure if I need this, but that's how the pattern goes, and I think it looks beautiful. So I just decided to follow the pattern on this one. While I was actually thinking to make this yarn into a more summer-friendly or autumn-friendly cardigan for layering. But the pattern I choose for this, it didn't really look good in this yarn. I tried it, but I wanted to make the long line cardigan by Hohi Locatelli, what is an open front, beautiful cardigan. But it turned out that this yarn doesn't look so nice in the neat 1x1 ribbing because it has a bit of the rustic texture. So I really didn't like the look of it, and then I switched to this cardigan because I had the perfect gauge for this. I love this color. I had this cardigan in my library for like years. It's one of the oldest things I have in my library on Ravelry, but I never came to knit it because A, it's a really big long garment, but B, I didn't find a wool that I felt like really fits the style of the garment. So now this goes perfectly well, even if it's not a really warm winter wool, but I don't need really warm winter garments that often where I live. I more have the things that is like cold in the morning, but then gets really sunny. That's why I focus more on cardigans, even if like knitting sweaters is much easier because you can do everything in the round, you don't need to purl and stuff. But for the climate I live in, everything that is layering is much better. That's why I was worried a bit about the shawl collar, but then this cardigan will only be for the colder months. But yeah, I think it will turn out really nicely when it's finished, but I will work quite a while on this one. So let's see how long it takes. I have like 2.5 hours every day during the retreat classes to work on it, while I still need to listen and to discuss with the teachers. So I don't think I will finish this in this retreat, but I might get a little bit of length done. It's now relatively easy. We are working like raglan, top down, and I think it will be really beautiful. Oh, I also switched to this because in the other videos that you will see when I went yarn shopping, I found this really beautiful small round buttons, like wooden buttons, that I thought would go perfectly with this yarn. And when I'm finished, I will show you the buttons that I will put on this yarn, because that was one of the reasons why I in the end decided that these buttons need to go with this yarn, and I have to have a button up cardigan in this yarn. So you will see this again in the future because you see there's a lot of more knitting to do. But this is the only work in progress I have for now. I hadn't planned to be here, so I don't have that much wool with me, and the other stuff I have with me will be color work, and color work is really not good for working in class. So this is the main project for now. And I also have some small crochet stuff that I will show you a little bit later. Work on some little crochet projects. On the one hand, because when you go to the Dalai Lama, you're actually not allowed to bring knitting needles, but until now no one cared about crochet hooks, and sometimes we are there several hours before His Holiness shows up, and then it's nice to work on a little project. And it's usually really early in the mornings, so when you sit there at 6 a.m. I'm not focused enough to read a book or something. So I like to have a little crochet with me, or also like the last Dalai Lama teaching we went to last week. It was like 1.5 hour bus ride away, so you need to do something in the bus. So I did bring a little crochet project. But there's also someone in this retreat that is learning crochet right now. I have shown pictures on my Instagram. I might ask her if she wants to show up here. She's actually an artist from India, so maybe she wants to chat a bit to you. I will ask her later. But for that, I went out to find some yarn for her that she can use, because she's actually allergic to wool. And I also don't have, like, all the wool I have with me is planned out for projects. So it's not good to give it away for testing, because then I might run out of wool for my projects. So the video about how I try to find yarn is a separate video, and I'm not sure if it will be posted before or after this, but you will see it. So what I found was some simple cotton yarn, pretty cheap. It's like $1.50 per ball, even a little bit less than this, but let's say around $1.50 per ball for 100-gram skein of wool. And it doesn't have much information, just us 100% cotton. And what I made is this little frisbee, because I wanted to make something practical. There's lots of small monks here. There's a kind of school right next to us, and the kids here don't have so many toys. And I recently saw them play badminton, but instead of badminton rackets, they had to use dustbins from swiping the floor, because they don't have the proper rackets. And I thought, oh, something like this is like, you can't really destroy it. It's easy. It's a quick make. I could make it in one day during class. And as I was surprised, these things are flying quite well. I wasn't sure when I saw the pattern first if it works, but it works pretty well. So I made another one here. I made another one in Drehpunkt Losling in December, but now I made this, and I might make some more. I also made a little juggling ball that I don't have with me, because I need to fill it with rice. So I have to find rice to fill it with and to finish it. So it will become like a hacky sack or juggling ball, depending on what I would like to do. And depending on how much time for small projects like this I find in between, I might work up more. I bought a bunch of different colors, so my friends can try themselves out. There's another girl that sees the two of us, and now she wants to learn as well. So as soon as we find the time to sit down, she will also learn crochet now. And they asked me of what is easier, especially for making household goods. And I always say there is no easier or what I prefer more. I prefer different crafts for different items. And for something like this, I totally prefer crochet. For amigurumi and toys, I prefer crochet. For household goods, bags, this kind of stuff, I prefer crochet. For garments, I prefer knitting, while crochet tops are a really nice thing as well. So it really depends on the project, what I rather do. For the fun of it, I really love both. Crocheting is a lot of fun, and I'm always happy if I have a small project like this, because just the movement, it's so easy and fun, and I really like both. There's no competition between them. They're just perfect for different things. And that's more or less it. This is what I have to show you. I hope you're all having a good time. I might see you soon, but not so much travel videos right now. Even if I'm still not home, I'm kind of at one place doing the Buddhist things, and it kind of feels home again. It doesn't really feel like traveling anymore, and there's not so many adventures that I can actually film. So if there are adventures coming up on the way home, I will record them for you and post them as well. But for now, that's mainly it, and I just show you knitting. So I hope you all have a good day, and I see you all soon. Bye!